Hello everyone, I'm Mallory.
Hi Mallory.
First off, I apologize slacking off on the coffee duties. There's coffee brewing. If I could have Lauren or someone.
I got you.
Awesome, fill that up. Excellent. So, alcoholic addict named Mallory. I'm going to start off and just kind of introduce you, tell you a little bit about my life, how I was raised, where I've come from, where I am today. So, I was adopted as a newborn baby. So right away you kind of can tell that I was wanted, I was loved by my parents. They were so supportive of me growing up. I was encouraged my whole childhood. I'm from a really small farm town. I was born and raised in the middle of a cornfield, a couple hours south of here. My dad, he's a farmer, so he makes really good money doing that. My mom, she works in the hospital, so I always had good insurance if I ever broke a leg or needed to go see a doctor. And growing up, I had a really good life. I had an older brother who was 12 years older than me, so he wasn't ever really around. But I was always told I was the better child than him, that he was the trouble child. So I really took that to heart, and I really tried to be a better child for my parents growing up. Also, my parents, like I said, they're very encouraging. Anything that I wanted to do, anything that I believed that I could be, they were like, just go and do it. So whether it be, I was in dance classes, ballet, tap dance, they would take me after school to go do that. Also, horse racing. We used to travel around everywhere with my horses, and I would do barrel runs, racing competitions, and that sort of thing. For a while, I was in motocross, and my parents would take me around with my little dirt bike, and I would do races. Just whatever it may be. Even in high school, they were there for all of my sports, all of the games. They were there cheering me on, and they're just the most homegrown, supportive people that I've probably ever met, and they love me more than I've ever loved myself, 100%. So again, from a really small farm town, my school, all the way from kindergarten to high school, I was in the same building with every grade. I just kind of graduated from classroom to classroom. My mascot, he was Bob the Cobb. He was a corn cob. He's a really cool guy. Just a fun fact. But I think that my addiction kind of started with lying. In the big book, it talks about putting on different faces and different masks and being who other people wanted you to be, and I was so good at that. I was so good at spinning these weird, abnormal tales that really no one should have believed me, and some people did, some people didn't. And I grew up in the woods, and my best friend was my dog. But I would tell my friends, like, oh, me and my dad flew out in a helicopter to Washington to hang out with this really extravagant friend that I have that lives in a mansion, And I would tell my friends these stories, and I would lie to my family, I would lie to my friends in the face, and even if they caught me, I would still be like, no, that wasn't me that broke out, or no, I didn't make up that story. And it just, I liked being somebody who I wasn't. I liked pretending. I liked living in a fantasy world. I also liked being very, very active. I said that my parents encouraged me to do all these things, be whoever I wanted to be, and I was always trying to do everything. I was trying to be in every sport. I was trying to be everybody's friend. I wanted to be in every single club. Especially in high school, even though it's a small farm town, I was in volleyball, baseball, softball, basketball, track, and then I was part of the art club. I was part of the Spanish club, and then Adventures in Awareness. We only had like 4 clubs in my school, but I wanted to be friends with everybody. And again, putting on those different masks, and I would, before school, I'd hang out with the jocks. We would hang out in the gym, and then after school, I would have practice. After practice for sports, I would have art club, and I could put on the mask and be friends with the jocks. I could put on the mask and be friends with the art emo kids, and then I could also hang out with the geeky kids or the stoners or whatever kind of clique it was. I was exactly who he wanted me to be, not really knowing exactly who I was, because I was so good at lying. I was so good at pretending to be whoever I wanted to be. And different cliques, they're all into different things. And my jock friends out in the country, we would go on a country farm road and have a couple of beers, just hanging out with my friends. And I discovered what an alcoholic was one of those first nights. You know, my friends, they would have one or two and they would be fine, but I would drink a whole case. You know, I would keep drinking until I blacked out and I didn't know what was going on. And my friends, you know, when they would go out with me on the weekends, like, you're an alcoholic. It doesn't matter what it is, you're going to drink it. And I was like, you're darn right I am. I'd be the best alcoholic you ever saw because I'm competitive. You know, I want people to like me. I want to be the best at everything that I do. And I also started hanging out with the stoners in high school. You know, around age 15, 16, it was totally normal for me to start smoking weed every day. And I still upkept the front that I'm still the perfect child that my parents could ever want. I'm still that athletic jock. I'm still, you know, the nerd that plays video games with my friends. And then I'm also that stoner who smokes weed every day. And it, you know, it was kind of like it was stressful, high school, trying to be all these things that I wasn't, and trying to stay on top of studies and sports and try to make my parents proud. And when I finally got a car, when I finally went out and ventured off into the real world, I met the love of my life. His name is Max Coley. He's from Ottawa, which, you know, out here you guys have the big city, Chicago. Well, Ottawa was my big city. You know, we had 2 Walmarts, we had 2 strip clubs, there was like 5 gas stations, which in my town there wasn't a gas station. You know, we had a cafe, a post office, and a school. That was it in my town. So Ottawa was like the big city for me. And I met Max out there, and we took over the city. You know, like, we had so much in common. We listened to the same music, Pink Floyd, Nirvana, we smoked the same cigarettes. His grandpa was a farmer, so boom, right there, I found my future farmer husband. You know, I didn't need to look anymore. But he was the world to me, you know, we were best friends. We got in a lot of trouble together. A lot of trouble. I started dating him when I was about 17. And, you know, once I graduated high school, that's kind of around the same time frame where I started to make more friends, and I started to really get involved with marijuana, and I started to smoke in large quantities to support my habit. And, you know, it was really cool. Back when I was 18, everybody called me on the phone and say, Mallory, where are you at? Mallory, come to this party. Mallory, come over here. All these people wanted to hang out with me. When in reality, all they wanted was the dope that I was selling to them. And, you know, I thought I had like the best life that life could offer at that point. Until, you know, for me, marijuana is a gateway drug, because through marijuana, I discovered all these other drugs. I tried all these other new things that half the time I didn't even know what the drugs were. You know, they said, oh, here's these pills, try them. And I didn't ask what they were, I didn't ask what they do, I didn't ask, you know, the strength, the name, I didn't even care. I was just like, yeah, whatever that is. You know, drugs were a coping mechanism for me to not have to pretend to be whoever you wanted me to be. I could just pretend to be me, and everybody was totally okay with that. But, you know, I still didn't really know who I was at the time. So, you know, through that phase of trying all these different new weird drugs, I tried these pain pills. And, you know, it started out with Vicodin. And I started working my way up the ladder of strengths in the pain pills, when in all reality I started working myself deeper into a hole that I really couldn't escape from. You know, it started out with like 1 or 2 Vicodin, soon it would be 10 or 12, and I would just be so sick. Like, I would like vomit, I'd be sick to my stomach from taking so many pills, but I'd be like, that was awesome, when can I do that again, you know? And the next day I was trying to get those pills, and you know, after taking so many painkillers, they start not to get you as high anymore, and I discovered that heroin was a good thing for me at the time, you know. And honestly, once I was introduced to heroin, once I started to shoot it, the next 6 years of my life, I don't remember anything. I can't even tell you really anything that happened other than every day it became wake up, try to hustle money, try to get high, try to steal, try to lie, try to do whatever it takes just to get that 1 bag of dope to get me through the day. You know, after after trying the pain pills and after trying heroin, obviously I can't keep up that facade to my parents anymore that I'm the perfect child. You know, like I'm stealing money, jewelry, guns, I'm stealing their car, I'm stealing whatever they have to support my habit. And, you know, at 18 they kicked me out and I moved in with the love of my life, Max. Him and I, we were heroin addicts right from the get-go, right when we first tried it. And we supported each other for a while, and then we started to rip each other off, and then we started to rip our friends off, and then we started to rip off strangers, and it just, we struggled with it for 6 years, but we were together through it all. I don't know how, but you know, we got in a lot of trouble as well. I have a track record that's so long, I couldn't even tell you everything that I got arrested for. In my past, I've seen like papers when you try to apply for a job and they send you your criminal history, like, I didn't do that, did I? But you know, I'm in the books, I'm in the computer system, it's all there. My first felony was probably the worst charge that I've ever gotten. You know, I was with Max. We were at this point in our life, we were like, all right, we're gonna get sober, we're gonna get clean. And we had a car at that time, we were driving around, having a good time, and got pulled over to find out that he was high. And he actually put all the paraphernalia in my bag, and I'm the one that got arrested for it, even though I was sober at the time. You know, and I went to jail for about, I think it was 5 or 6 months. I went to jail 5 or 6 months for that. And they talked about going to prison. It's a class 4 felony, but they worked it out and I got discharged from jail. You know, let me just say that those 6 months in jail were probably the best of my life. After being broke for 6 years, you know, in jail I had a bed. It wasn't the comfiest bed, but I had a bed. I had a roof over my head. I was woken up in the morning, I was able to get a shower, I was fed 3 meals a day. You know, I felt the best in my life that I probably ever had in those 6 years. And I really didn't want to leave jail. You know, I had friends, I quit smoking cigarettes because you can't in jail. You know, like it was miserable in there day in and day out, but I was the happiest I've ever been. And, you know, once they released me, the first thing I did is I called up a dealer and said, how much can you front me? You know, how much do I have to sell in order to get high? And just right away, the same day that I got out, I went right back to that life because that's all I know at this point. You know, I don't know what it's like to hold a steady job, to get a paycheck, to wake up and take a shower. I don't know how to do any of that. So, you know, when you go to jail, they gave me a probation officer, and after a week of being out in jail, I had to meet with my probation officer. I got drug tested, I tested dirty. She said, okay, you have 2 options. We can either go to rehab, or we can send you to prison. And my thinking at the time was like, okay, in rehab, they'll give me 3 cigarettes a day at least, so we're gonna go with the rehab route. And I went to Rosecrans. They let me stay there for a couple of months. And, you know, even there I had reservations. I was like, all right, I just won't do any more heroin. I can still drink, I can still smoke, you know, maybe do a few other drugs, but heroin, painkillers, I can't do anything with those. And also I had to say goodbye to Max because I was in contact with him in rehab, and I knew exactly, like, he's not going to get sober, he's not going to stay sane, he's not going to do anything that I really wish that he would do just because I asked nicely, you know. So I had to say goodbye to him, I had pushed him out of my life, and I decided the best thing was to go to a sober living house out in Rockford, Greendale. And okay, so the sober living house, it was a really good idea for me at the time because it kind of like it kept me in a cocoon. They took me to meetings, they helped you get a job, they kind of teach you how to work the steps, how to find a sponsor. You know, they teach you these little life skills about sobriety. But also, it was a 2-story, excuse excuse me, it was a 2-story sober house, bottom floor women, top floor men. And, you know, let me tell you that I fell in love again. But this guy, he was my knight in shining armor, and he turned out to be just a boy dressed in tinfoil because he was so good looking, he was so nice to me. He would whisper sweet nothingness in my ear, you know, he would tell me, you're so pretty, you're so smart, you're so charismatic, you're everything that I could ever want in a girl. And I was like, oh gee, thank you, that is so nice. So, you know, clearly I didn't need to believe any of those things because I had that voice in my head telling me everything that I wanted to hear. Why would I want to go out and work the steps? Why would I want to go out and find a sponsor and work on myself when I have all this, you know, instant gratification, boom, all in a mail? And we stayed together for 2 years, you know, we went to meetings together, everything was awesome, and, you know, until he was like, well, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm not an addict, I don't need any of this stuff, and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever you say, you know what, I'm going wherever you're going, and so I stopped going to meetings. I didn't do anything recovery-wise, you know, just like day in, day out, it was just like, do this, go to work, blah, 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 blah. Life was not fulfilling at all, and it was not long until I relapsed. When I relapsed, you know, I went back home, I went straight to the dope, and within a week of me relapsing, that job that I had, I lost it. That sober house I lived in, I got kicked out. All the money that I had saved, within a year, I spent all that right away on dope. Even the car that I saved up money to buy, I was on my way driving to dealerships to see who could give me the best price, the most amount of money. You know, within a week of relapsing, I lost everything that it took me a year to build up to get. And also, I'm still on probation, you know, so don't forget that. My probation officer, she does a random drug test, she surprises me, and, you know, liar me was all like, no, that can't be right, let's do another drug test. And of course, you know, that one doesn't work either. So she luckily, she talked to the courts, and I was given 2 options, either rehab or you can go to prison. So, you know, again, I was like, all right, rehab, I can smoke cigarettes in rehab, let's do the rehab thing. And I found myself again back at Rosecrans, and I found myself paying more attention. I sat down, I shut up, and I listened to what they told me, and I started to see that, all right, my thinking is insane. I am over-emotional, I am egotistical, I don't have any of the skills that I lied to myself my whole life that I thought that I possessed. You know, I was beaten down, I was broken, I was lost, I was scared. You know, I didn't want to fucking use anymore, and I didn't want to go back to the life that I had, but I didn't know what else was out there for me. So in rehab, I was there for another couple months. When I got out, that knight in shining armor, his name's Bryce, by the way, so my knight in shining armor / tinfoil, he said, well, I went through this recovery house called Serenity House, and, you know, I was like, all right, well, I'll give that a try. And, you know, honestly, I didn't want to fucking go back home to my parents. You know, I was such a disappointment, and any time that I saw my mom's face, you know, like it made me cringe. It made me want to use just hanging out with my family because of all the resentments that they have towards me, because of all the pain through everything that I've dragged them through in my addiction. Being around them made me feel so guilty that I couldn't fucking do it. So I went to a halfway house, Serenity House, and that's probably one of the best decisions, one of the better decisions that I've made in my life. Because in Serenity House, I really learned how to function like a normal human being. They lay out your whole entire day for you, basically. So you wake up, you shower, maybe eat some breakfast. You have to be out of the house by 9 a.m. From like 9 to 5 p.m., you know, you're not allowed back in the house. You best be out there pounding them streets looking for a job or making new friends that can help you look for a job. And you're allowed to come back into the house 5 p.m. Dinner is at 6 o'clock sharp, 6:30 we're done eating, clean up, 7 o'clock we have groups until 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock you do your chore, you get your chore checked by someone and make sure that there isn't one little smudge out of place. And you know, by like 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'm so exhausted, my head hit the pillow and I was out. And it was like that for 3 months, you know, and they just, I had a bed. I had the ability to shower every day. I never did that in my addiction. I actually ate breakfast and then dinner, and then I found a job. I started working at Portillo's, and that was the best job that I've ever had. I had so much fun, and you know, I like chaos, and Portillo's, it was chaotic, and I started making friends with girls in the house. You know, my best friend growing up was my dog, so I don't like people, let alone girls. But after getting to know them, you know, I started to make friends with the girls in the house. I started to go to outside meetings with them. I started to meet other alcoholics and addicts. You know, I started to really build up my foundation in recovery, but also my foundation in life in general and how normal people might kind of live their lives. So I stayed at Serenity House for 4 months. You know, the 4 months that I was there, I got a sponsor. I worked all 12 steps because I grabbed hold of my sponsor and I said, I need you to hold my hand and take me through these steps as fast as possible, because I was definitely afraid that if I don't do these steps, I'm going to die. If I don't do this program, I'm going back out there and I'm not going to make it back. You know, I was scared for my life. And I set up a game plan of what I wanted to do when I left the halfway house. You know, I decided like, okay, I want to go back to school. I want to get a job here. I want to get this kind of car. I want to pay off all these bills that I owe. You know, I set up like, kind of like a bucket list / wish list / game plan. And I didn't get set out in the world like, all right, you're done with the halfway house, go figure it out. They let me go into a 3/4 house, and a 3/4 house, you know, I have a lot more freedom. My days off, I don't have to leave the house if I don't want to. I can go to whatever meetings that I want to, as long as I'm accountable. You know, as long as I'm there by curfew, as long as I kind of let other people know what it is that I'm doing, as long as I don't fuck up, everything's okay. And you know, at first when I moved to the 3/4 house, I had all this free time, and you know, I fell in love with money, because money's awesome. I mean, everybody loves money, but you know, I really started to work insane hours. Like I would get like 20, 30 hours of overtime at Portillo's, and I would be there from like 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. when we closed, just because I could. And I started working myself like crazy. I started not going to meetings. I started not talking to my sponsor as much. I wasn't doing any kind of step work. I wasn't working with any other alcoholic and addicts. And you know, it started to show like in my character defects. I'm a pretty happy, bubbly person. You know, like I smile all the time. And like when I wake up and I don't smile at myself in the mirror, like I know something's going on. When people are like, man, you're being kind of a bitch today, like I know something's going on. And you know, it took kind of other people to be like, you're not yourself, for me to look and see, all right, what is it? It's because I'm not going to meetings, because I'm not doing step work, sponsor work. I wasn't doing any of that. So it needs to be a part of my life. I need to keep balance. I need to keep order. I need to be able to work so many hours. I need to make so much money to pay bills, to pay rent, to pay off all my fines. But I need to go to meetings. I need to work with my sponsor. And balance in life, you know, like it's still not perfect today, but it's a hell of a lot better than just waking up and getting high every day. You know, today I get to wake up, take a shower. I get to go to my awesome job. I get to hang out with my sponsor or my sponsors. I get to do really incredible things. And I've been at Serenity House since January. My sobriety date it's June 17th, 2015. I have been consistently sober for the longest period of my life ever, which is amazing to me, but I haven't done it all alone. You know, I haven't done any of this by myself at all. It's all my higher power, it's all my sponsor, it's all of you guys, it's all of my friends, my recovery. And you know those goals that I was talking about earlier, the pay off fines, the go to school, you know, all that stuff. So I've done all that and more. Currently, I am applying to the vet tech program at Joliet Junior College to become a certified vet tech. I currently work at an animal hospital, which I get to do all the things that a vet tech does. I get to assist in surgery, I get to hold puppies and kitties, I get to do really gross stuff like dentals and pull teeth, and I love it. It's absolutely my favorite thing that I get to wake up and do every day. I have a credit score. I didn't even know what that was when I first got sober. But today I have a decent credit score, and I can apply for apartments. Even people might want to sell me a house because everything's okay with that. I've paid off my parents a lot. I still continue to pay my parents. You know, I pay their phone bill. I help pay with insurance. I pay them a certain amount of money every paycheck just to try to get the financial amends with them. And so many financial amends to make because I've caused a lot of wreckage in my past. You know, I do really fun things. Last year I went to Mount Rushmore. I went to the Grand Canyon. I was there for like 4 days hiking and I got lost and I was starving. It was the best day. It was awesome. I loved it. Last year, you know, I got my motorcycle license. This year I'm planning to go to Minnesota to the dunes. I'm going to get a dune buggy. I'm so excited. And, you know, I have so much going for me in my life, and it's not perfect. You know, it's still fucking hard. It can still be hard, but I have such a better outlook on everything versus where I came from. You know, and I also, like, I get so fucking passionate about the program because it helps save my life. So, you know, if you want to hear more about that, come up to me, come talk to me. Let's go out and get coffee, milkshakes. Let's go to the zoo. Let's go out in the woods and hang out. You know, let's do something and talk about this shit because I couldn't even really go on to tell you all about all the amazing things that I get through the program. But yeah, I'm starting to stall out. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you.